Hello YouTube, thanks for tuning in. It's time for another common sense gun review. And today I have got something that I've had my eye on for quite some time. I got this a while back, had it sitting in the back just waiting to work my way up to it for a review, and here we go. This is the FMK 9C1 Gen 2, and that is a mouthful. The FMK is a weapon made in the state of California. That's right, the what some folks like to call the Soviet Socialist Republic of California. This company has been fighting the tide of anti-gun sentiments in California, and I really wanted to evaluate their weapon and support them any way I could, because I admire that. I admire going into the belly of the beast, so to speak, and doing the exact opposite of what they would expect. So let's get into this one. The FMK comes in a really nice case, real solid, hard plastic case, lockable, has holes for putting a padlock in if you decide you need to travel with the weapon. Very solid case with a nice latch here in front. Well designed, really points already for a good presentation. So we open her up and we have a box of goodies. We're going to start here on the left side. Now ignore the bullets that I have in here, because I was unloading the magazines to take this weapon to the range to shoot. So those are my hollow points that I keep in the magazines when and if I decide to carry this particular weapon. So the bullets did not come with it. However, we'll start with this little baggie here on the left that it did come with. This weapon comes with some synthetic oil for the weapon. It's kind of nice little add-on that they just put in the box for you. And a set of sights. And we'll get into the sights here in a few minutes, but nice little 3-dot sights. And get the glare off that so you can kind of see. But 3-dot sights. So the sights on this weapon are fully replaceable. I'm going to pause for a second and tell you, please ignore the clicking that you hear. I have a dog that he just does not understand filming means please stay out of the room, so he's just pacing around. So ignore the clicking, I apologize. The next thing you see right here on top is the manual for this weapon. The FMK C1 series manual. This is a thick manual, and it is full color. Very nicely done. Now, getting into the particulars of the manual, right here on the first page, a quote from Rush Limbaugh: "You know why there's a Second Amendment? In case the government fails to follow the first one." Not a big supporter of Rush Limbaugh, but that is a good quote, especially for a weapon made in the state of California. Right here on page 2, proudly American, 100% American made. This is 100% made in the United States, so that's another good reason to possibly consider this weapon. You go through the manual, lots of information about the weapon, as you would expect in any manual. I'm going through this fairly quickly because I want to get to the rest of the part that is in this manual. You've got all the stuff about the weapon. You have a product registration page. You have an exploded view of the weapon. A page and a half about the testing and safety of the weapon, where they detail everything they do to make sure this is a fully functioning, safe weapon for you. Page and a half about the warranty. They will warranty this weapon for the life of the owner, which is great. A lot of companies don't do that. Then it tells about the story of the weapon. These weapons, they come in a standard version, and they come in a version that has the Bill of Rights engraved on them. I wasn't really going to get that version to shoot. That would be more of a collector's piece, but nice little piece of firearms history in the making. But it tells about that. It tells about firearm safety with a heading that says "No tragedies, please." It goes on with a listing of the Bill of Rights. It goes on with 2 pages about "In God We Trust," 2 pages about liberty, freedom, and America. A thank you to U.S. soldiers, small print, 2 pages. A lot of patriotism from these folks and a lot of respect for veterans. Going into E Pluribus Unum, Want you to support the flat tax. I kind of think this company may even be libertarian since they really hit a lot of these libertarian type thinkings. 2 pages on why the left hates guns. Wow. And then the last page, they explain what FMK means. This is the part I struggled with a little bit. FMK stands for For My Country. Country spelled with a K. Okay, I don't really get that, but it goes into it explaining the whole thing about FMK. Last page is a quote from Ronald Reagan. Guys, the book alone shows that these people put a lot of care and thought into their weapons. So hats off to them on putting together a good presentation. Now we get to what is offered in the box. Talked about the little baggie with the extra goodies. You get a spare magazine. The magazines are good material, steel made, good base plate. You get 1 spare mag, and you get the weapon with the magazine. Now, to show that we are clear here, you can see nothing in the chamber. Mag well's empty. We are clear. So this is the weapon. There have been a lot of reviews done on this weapon, both good and bad. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. I'm going to explain why I like this weapon, but I'm also going to tell you some of the negatives about it. A lot of people compare this weapon to a Glock 19. Frankly, I don't like Glocks. I can't hit crap with a Glock. I guess it's the low sight profile. I don't know. This one does not seem to shoot to me like a Glock because I am fairly good with this weapon. So right off the bat, the Glock 19 comparison, I don't know. It's got some similarities, but I would not call this a Glock-like weapon. So let's go through the pros. We talked about the case. Great solid case, lots of goodies in the case. We talked about the manual. Now let's talk about the sights. I told you in the bag you got a nice 3-dot sight. On the weapon comes what I call the Glock style sight. Another comparison to the Glock, I guess. But you've got the U with the forward dot. Worked for me. I will trade this out and put the 3-dot on it because I just prefer a 3-dot, but the sights work. They're good sights. They're fixed, they're not adjustable, but they are replaceable. We talked about the magazines, good quality magazines, good followers. They load up pretty easy. Don't really need a mag loader to get them loaded fully. 14 round mags, I mean, you're in good shape with these. So good magazines. The weapon itself, the construction on this weapon is really good. You've got a little play in the slide to the frame. Not enough to where it's really anything I would worry about. The grip is ergonomic. It fits my big mitts really comfortably. It fits my wife's small hands really comfortably. This weapon comes with a rubber pad. It looks like it's a back strap. It looks like it would be something that is interchangeable. There's even a pin holding it in here at the top of the grip, but it does not come with any back straps, and I have not been able to find any replacement back straps. So I don't know if it's interchangeable, but it is a nice rubberized back strap that helps a great deal with recoil. Let's talk recoil. Not a lot of recoil with this weapon. Granted, it's a 9mm. 9mm doesn't have an awful lot of recoil, but this reduces it even further. The trigger has a trigger safety much like a Glock. I call this the Glock style trigger safety, even though they don't have the market cornered on that. It is the Glock style trigger safety, probably another reason why people compare it to the Glock 19, but it's a good solid trigger safety. The mag release is very good, easy to find. The magazines drop right out. Now, if you buy this weapon in a restricted state like California, the magazines do not drop out. You will have to hand release or hand remove the magazines. This one being purchased in a non-California state, magazines drop right out. Good solid mag release. So points there. For combat reloads, it does very well. And let's talk about the patriotism. First off, right here on the side of the weapon, Patriot. Now, I don't know why they don't call this model the Patriot. If they're going to engrave it that big on the side, I think maybe unofficially that's what it is. But also look here, proudly American, engraved there. On the back plate, you probably can get it a little closer. It says freedom and liberty. Let's see here. There was one other patriotic message, I thought, on this weapon, other than made in USA. Okay, it's not on the pistol. I am incorrect on that. But this weapon is just full of acknowledgement that it's American made, it's a patriotic company. I have to count that as a big pro. I love the fact that they're not only in California making guns, they're proud to be in California making guns, and they're making a good one, really. So let's talk about the negatives. It is Glock-like as far as its basic shape and design. It does not have that low bore axis like a Glock has. Is the only reason I can figure why I can hit with this and not a Glock. It's not psychological. I simply cannot shoot well with the Glock, and I shoot well with this pistol. So, you know, it is what it is. A lot of folks compare it to a Glock. I really just don't see it. I think this is a lot slimmer and a lot easier to conceal than a Glock 19. I like this weapon better. But there are some things where it's like a Glock as far as the design of it. It does have a lower center than, say, a SIG or a Beretta. So it is similar to a Glock, but this is not a Glock 19 clone in any way. That's the word I'm looking for. It does have the slide release like a Glock, which I have always hated. These are so difficult for somebody who has big hands and large fingers to get those two little levers down at the same time to get the slide off. Plus, there's not a lot of traction on those. I think the Glock actually has a little bit better grip on those little levers. But anyway, it does have that Glock style slide removal procedure. The sights on it, like I said, the sights are okay. Comes with 2 sets. You can trade them out. The sights are what they are. They're not luminous. They do have a good white outline, but I would have liked maybe some adjustability on these sights. But it's a budget pistol. What are you going to do? Let's move on to the range report, because I have a negative on the range report. We'll start with the positives on the range report. We'll do it in order. At the range, this weapon performed very well. It had very little recoil, as I spoke about earlier. It's a very accurate weapon. Any missed shots that weren't exactly where I wanted them, I blame on me, on my technique. I do not blame them on this weapon. It operated very well. A lot of people in other reviews, and a lot of people who have experienced this weapon, they say it is unreliable because it jams. Most weapons have a break-in period. Now, a SIG, a Beretta, even a Glock, you pull them out of the box, you load them up, you fire them. They should fire flawlessly. You would expect that of any weapon. But give this one a little bit of leeway, and it will be a great weapon for you. And I'll tell you what I did. A lot of folks complaining about it locking up, and I knew instantly it had to be because the weapon needed to be broke in. So what I did is I took an empty weapon, no magazine, and I just cycled it 250 times. Counted it 250 times. That may seem crazy to you, but for a $350 value pistol, I'm willing to put a little effort into it to get my value out of it. And this weapon operated perfectly with brass case ammunition. I had not done steel case in it. As I've said in other videos, the particular range near me bans all steel case ammo. So until I find a range that is closer to me that I can use the ammo I want to use, my steel case review is going to be delayed a little bit. I will post in the comments later when I do get this to a range for steel case. But with brass case, fired perfectly. No issues whatsoever. I had some Blazer aluminum case. I had 4 failures to eject on the Blazer aluminum case. And I'm going to tell you what I think it was on that. On this particular weapon, obviously with any semi-automatic pistol you have your extractor. I think the rim of the aluminum case was not enough for the extractor to grab hold of, because it did perfectly with brass case. And looking at a spent brass case versus a spent aluminum case, it looked to me like the rim of the aluminum case was shallow, more shallow than the brass case. So there wasn't as much to grab on. So it left the spent casing in the barrel and tried to cycle another round through and jammed up on me. So there were some jams with the aluminum case ammunition. I believe it was ammunition design. I do not blame it on this weapon, but I will keep doing further tests and update everybody. But in my opinion, if you put brass case ammo in this weapon, you are going to have absolutely no issues whatsoever. It fired flawlessly every single time. I was very happy with the performance of it. The accuracy was great. Again, any missed shots were, they were kind of on me, I would believe. But the negative on this one at the range, as I said, it was a failure to feed aluminum case ammunition 4 rounds out of 50. So not a great ratio. That's an 8% failure rate, and to me that's unacceptable. But don't use aluminum case ammunition, which I wouldn't recommend to anybody in any case, in any weapon, for ammunition you're going to rely on to save your life. But in any case, that is a failure on the aluminum case ammo. So guys, the FMK, like I said, a lot of good and a lot of bad about this one. The people who don't like it are very adamant about it. They're very blunt, and they really run this weapon down quite hard, and I think it's unfair. I think people don't give this weapon enough of a fair shake. I don't think they give it a break-in period. But this weapon fires when you pull the trigger. It goes bang. To me, that is almost all you need to be concerned about when looking at a weapon for self-defense. Do I recommend this weapon? Absolutely. It is reliable. It is durable. It is common sense priced. And it is easy to conceal and carry. It is not that heavy. It's actually a very light weapon. I've had heavier weapons that are smaller. You can look at my other review on the ATI, the 1911 Fat Boy. That thing weighed a metric ton compared to this. And that was an enjoyable weapon to carry. So this one is very nice to carry. Fits your hand well. A couple of flaws on it, guys, but they're my perspective. They may be things you love. It is Glock similar. It is not Glock-like. It is not a Glock clone. So do not buy into that everyone's saying this is a Glock clone. It is not, in my opinion, in any way a Glock clone. So I recommend you try this weapon out. If you can get to a range that rents guns that has these, give them a shot. Like I said, sub 350 range. You can probably even get them cheaper than that in some areas. They come in a multiple array of colors. This one is the titanium gray frame with the black slide. They've got all black. They've got a pink one for the ladies or the gentlemen who prefer to have a pink weapon. They have I believe a OD green frame. I think I've even seen a white frame on these. So lots of options for colors if you're into color scheming your weapon. It's just a good buy, guys. It really is. So give FMK a look. The C1, the 9C1 Gen 2. If you find one of these and it looks like something you'd be interested in, I highly recommend picking it up. Guys, thanks for tuning in to another Common Sense gun review. I hope you keep checking out the videos. Please give us a like. That definitely helps the page out a bit. Traffic has been up on our other videos, and I really appreciate you checking us out. Hope you'll stay with us on the videos to come. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them below. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.